What an emotional roller coaster. Don't lie to me, I can't take it like this anymore. How it ends break my heart. I knew that something bad gonna happen, but I didn't expect it's gonna be like this, guys. This series is great. Hi guys, this is Stan. Welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? This video is really special because we're gonna read Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee together, the last book of the Green Bone Saga. I have heard that this one is an emotional one, may as well be the best of the whole series. On Goodreads, it is like over 4.6 stars, which I think is quite high and impressive already. So I have some sort of expectations about this book and I hope this one won't disappoint me. And I think it would be a good idea to read this one together, documenting how this book gonna break me for the good. Just in case you haven't heard about this series, this one is an Asian-inspired fantasy that is set in the world of K-Con. In here, people can wield jade that can give you some superhuman abilities. We're gonna follow one of the major clans that control this kind of business, known as the No Peak clan and the Core family, or Cow family. How they gonna win over their long-term rivalry, the Mountain clan, which was led by a fierce leader called Ayat. And then in the second book, the plot kind of expanded to the international level. We're gonna see how Jade is treated like an asset in this kind of international conflict and how these two clans gonna find allies overseas. The first book starts really slow until it hit a major turning point. The second book is great, and so we are coming to the last book of this series. I am only one chapter in and I already feel something already. This chapter starts with Hilo, who is the pillar aka the leader of the No Peak clan. This has more to do with what had happened by the ending of the second book. His wife Wen was sent overseas to Espania with Anden to handle some sort of clan business. Coming to this book in the very first chapter, we know more how Hilo feels about this incident. Hilo deliberately keeps the clan business away from Wen because she was a stone eye, someone that can process the power of Jade, and Hilo sees it as a way to protect his wife. But he didn't know that Wen has been acting behind his back for so long. Wen was even working with his sister called Shay. Now nearly even cost her life. With some sort of brain damage, Wen finds it difficult to handle day-to-day matters, let's say speaking or even walking. It is like some sort of stroke. She tried very hard to get back to her own normal life, but still it is a bit difficult for her. We know that since the second book, what she has done is for the clan to make some contribution to it. Yes, she is a stone eye, can't process the power of Jade, but sometimes it can give her some advantages. Now, instead of helping his wife, Hilo was so cold to Wen and even go to the pleasure house. Which break my heart already, and I feel bad for Wen. Wen was like my favorite character in the second book. I honestly don't know how I feel when I read more. Tomorrow I will go to Bexhill for a day trip, so when I come back I will definitely do some more reading. I'll see you all soon. See ya! The ending of chapter 25. What the fuck? I'm shocked. So I think it is the time to give you guys an update. I didn't really read much in Backhill, only on the train because it is a day trip. Who want to read when you're away? So the next day I didn't really have much to do, so I can have some more time for reading. And then for yesterday, I need to film and edit the November TBR, so once again, not much time for reading. But today, this morning, I reached such a turning point. It was like so shocking to me, and I think it is really the time to give you guys an update. This one, in terms of what had happened, is so close to the one in the first book, and it is quite emotional. I am currently 40% into the story, so it is quite a lot since the beginning of this video. To quickly summarize what had happened until reaching the turning point, I would say that this one is so different from the first two in terms of how time moved. Unlike the first two books, we are like picking up something significant, important along the time stream. So in this chapter, maybe it is now, but the next chapter may be taking place a month later or even a year later. So compared to the first two books, I don't think the time moved this quickly. And if I need to summarize what had happened in this 40%, it is still about the rivalry between the No Peak clan and the Mountain clan. They obviously want to protect their home K-Con, but in different ways. No Peak clan, where most of our POVs are coming from, feels like to me they are always a step behind. They try to calculate what the enemy will do, but they are always behind them. They propose this kind of international cooperation with a foreign power, the Espanian, to bring in some capital to strengthen their power. They also set up some overseas offices in Espania, but in Espania, they got different feel about Jade. Jade to them is more like a tool in maybe military or medical perspective. They don't need to follow like this kind of mindset about Jade like the people in K-Con do, those like Jade warriors. So sometimes our characters need to travel to Espania to strengthen their ties to exert their influence. Mountain clan is so different from the No Peak clan because they adopt a more isolated policy. They don't want anything to do with the foreign powers, and we know that since the first book of the series. So we're still going to see quite a lot of debates, maybe policy making, maybe finding reliable allies for these two clans. They both try to win over the other one. As for individual characters, I am really happy to see Wen started to rebuild her relationship with her husband, Hilo. It is definitely not easy for them because like Wen said, trust is something that is easy to break, but if you wanna rebuild it, it is like adding a tiny drop of water into a glass, so it's still gonna take time for them to be like, I won't say be like before, but try to evolve from what had happened between them. We also see more of their kids, what sort of troubles they're gonna get into. I guess from that chapter, we're gonna see what they may do in the future because of their personalities and roles. Shay, Hilo's sister's gonna argue quite a lot with Hilo about what they're gonna do for the clan. They both want the clan to be great, but still they got some different in opinions. I would say that in this book, maybe Shay is kind of in the background, I would say, but still we're gonna see more about her romantic encounters. Now she is settling down or even having a baby. As for Andon, like the cousin adopted to this family, because of his heritage, he is mixed race, and then his experience of study abroad, now he is more like an ambassador from the No Peak clan to Espania to try to handle some clan business or try to like assert their influence. He also got a chance to visit the families when he is study abroad. By the way, I missed one very important drama which is about Wen's brother. He was like I forgot, it's like fist or the horn for the No Peak clan, which is like directly under the pillar. That means Hilo. And then Hilo's always giving him some dirty works to do, something that he don't want people to know. But Wen's brother called Ta, I believe, is like putting into a pressure cooker. He keeps doing this kind of dirty works, but he got no way to release his feeling. Even heroes try to pair up him with another great Jade warrior, and they are like always clashing with each other. But Hiro didn't know anything about it. And at last, that tragedy happened, which is quite sad. But I am not sure in the future would Ta do anything for the Nopi clan because obviously he is not dead but just like being exiled. The last one I want to talk about is a side character called Barrow. He got his own chapter, but he is not coming from this Jade family or from these two clans. He is like a straight red joining this kind of clanless movement. His chapters is usually shorter but still important with this kind of clanless movement, this social movement. He is being thrown into this movement, but it has more to do with the international relations. This clanless movement is sponsored by the Yuktan, I believe is how you say it, which is like the rivalry of Espania in international level. Even though Barrow joining this clanless movement organized by Yuktan, he is secretly bought by the Espanian to act like their spy to gather the information about this possible uprising. Finally, after so many years of preparation, this sponsored social movement decided to act, which leads to possibly the biggest turning point so far in the story. I am still in a complete shock. It is like a deja vu from the first book. I honestly can't believe it happened and I am still recovering from it. It is like really traumatic. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, it's really sad. I guess the reason why I get so upset is because, of course, this is a sad moment. And then maybe also because Espania know about this possible riot, but they decided to do nothing about it. But they are also the ally for the Nopi clan. They just want to remove all the Jade warriors. They did try to warn the Cow family, try to warn Hiro about this explosion, but it is just too late. But you know it beforehand. You still... I'm just like... What? No way, you can't do that. Now, I honestly don't know what to expect from this book. The balance of power has shifted. Both clans got a common enemy. But will they try to cooperate, try to work together, or like keep this kind of difference? I really don't know. I can't really tell. And honestly, I'm not sure. Am I ready for the rest of the story? Oh... Is it true? He is alive now? What an emotional roller coaster. Don't lie to me, I can't take it like this anymore. Ta's chapter. Hi. Ooh la la. I am right about Ta's storyline. There's definitely more to it, but how it ends breaks my heart. Now my progress is roughly around 64%, meaning that I have read another 20%. With this progress, I hope that I can finish the whole book within 2 days, hopefully. I think that after the massive cliffhanger in the last update, what I would say is I was wrong. Hiro and Woon are still alive, so my tears gone to waste. This news creates some sort of drama with Shay. Shay thought that Hiro was dead. She thinks about the future of K-Con and she agrees that there should be at least one leader from a clan. So she decided to save the life of her long-term rival, the leader of the mountain clan, Ayat. It would be a great chance to eliminate this foe, but she thinks that they need a leader. They can't let K-Con to go into chaos, so she needs to save Ayat. As a result, when she knows that Hiro is still alive, she needs to take some sort of blame for saving his enemy. Now I am 64%, I would say that time did move quite fast. The kids like Nico, Rue and Jaya, they have grown quite a lot, they're going to college already. Same goes to our usual POVs, Hilo, Shay, and Anden. They are all in their 40-ish. Some people may feel confused about how time moved in this last book, or some people may think that time shouldn't be moving this fast in a fantasy world. But I would say that this kind of arrangement is quite smart, and let me tell you why. You may be confused about what year are we exactly in, even though Fonda Lee has really kindly to provide this kind of detail in the beginning of some chapters. Alright, maybe we are too invested in the story, sometimes we miss this kind of details, or we just simply forgot about it. Still, there are quite a lot of clues along the way to show you what year it is. Let's say how many years has passed since that significant event. The kids need to go to the college now or even think about the future because they are nearly adult. Or the characters will tell you how old they are. So I still think this kind of concept is still really accessible. You won't be so easily confused by it. I think first of all, we should talk about the character that make me so emotional, Ta. I mean, in the last update, I did say it, something gonna happen to him, because it would be too easy for him just to be exiled. At first, I was a bit worried about him when he firstly approached the gangster, I forgot his name, Remy, I believe. Because this gangster leader is always the one keeps stirring the shit in Hispania. Although the Jade warriors over Hispania got different views about how to use Jade, as well as all those restrictions imposed on them, they still hate Remy because he keeps ruining their reputation. They fear that if they let Remy live like that to storing all the shit, it might affect their way of life that they are having now. This time, Anden has grown up quite a lot and he knew that he needed to make such a difficult decision to remove this gangster leader, so he found Ta for help. Seeing how Ta handling the job, after 14 years of exile, he is still thinking about the family and his brother, Hilo. He didn't ask for anything else. He is like the same usual Ta in K-Con, willing to take any order from the family. After finishing his job, he is like, that's it for me, and commit suicide. What a man. Then we quickly move to the funeral of him in K-Con, and only the intimate family can attend this funeral because people still regard Ta as an exile. What Hilo said after the funeral broke my heart. In short, he said to Aiden that he can't lose any more of his brothers. Oh, my heart felt for it. Speaking of Anden, I think this kind of time moving so fast did work well on him. In the first book, he was like, I don't want any of this kind of clan business anymore. I don't want to be associated with the clan. I don't want to kill anyone. And then in the second book, he was sent study abroad to Hispania and realized how he can find a balance between his own interests and the clan business. Coming to this book, now Anden obviously has learned a lot from his own experience. With Nico, Hilo's eldest son, growing up and having similar kind of issues. He is the eldest. Of course, people would assume he would be the pillar of the Nopi clan in the future, but he got different views about how the jade can be used. Then Anden tried to offer him a bit of advice, and I think that part is like Anden tried to talk to the young Anden, so I think this whole storyline is great for him. As for Shay, I still think she is a bit in the background of the story, especially after the drama I mentioned, not killing the leader of the mountain clan. Now her kid, Tia, is 6 years old and Shay is having some kind of parenting problems with her because Tia is just like too kind and soft-hearted, and Tia didn't want to see anyone to be killed, even it is like an animal, like a rat. So it is a bit funny when Shay tried to find Hilo for some parenting advice. I mean, who knows, Shay needs some advice from Hilo one day. Speaking of the kids, Jaya, Hilo's only daughter, got some troubles in the academy that is like for training the Jade warriors. She is literally like a mini hero, so unlike Nico. She always think about the future of the clan, but sometimes she might be a bit aggressive. There are some foreshadowing about Jaya's personalities, but I hope that there won't be too much drama about her in the future. Then, in terms of the conflicts between these two clans, the Mountain Clan and the No Peak Clan, there are not too much going on, and I guess there will be more later. From Barrow's chapter, he was like a spy for the Hispanian, but now he has already told the Hispanian everything he knows, so he's no use anymore, and now he returns to K-Con. From here, we know that someone gonna push the conflicts between the Mountain Clan and the No Peak Clan, so that in the future, there will be no more clan. I do think something big is cooking underneath. It is too quiet for the Mountain Clan since the drama with Shay and Ayat, and with someone trying to push the conflicts between these two, who knows what's gonna happen? I guess we shall find it out together. I knew that something bad gonna happen, but I didn't expect it's gonna be like this, guys. My heart. Oh, oh my god, my hair. I have read another 20% of the Jade Legacy. I am right now just before the final confrontation, so I think it is a good time to give you guys an update. There are two very important events within this 20%, and the first one is about Shay and Wen. The clan has decided to invest in the film industry and they want to expand their influence in another overseas country called Shorter. But this country is traditionally controlled by the Mountain Clan, their rival. Luckily, they have set up a spy network earlier with the effort of the Fist and Horn. Now they can set up some overseas offices and balance the power with the Mountain Clan in Shorter. It is so embarrassing when someone is coming to my flat. This time Wen and Shay travel to Shorter for a business trip. Alongside they bring along two Fist bodyguards. But there is a really heated argument about the schedule of a movie star that they want to use, and this leads up to the kidnapping of Shay and Wen. I know in hindsight it is like very easy to say, but Wen is a stone eye, she can't fight. Shay is a Jade warrior, but she is getting old and not as active or not as good as fighting as when she was young. They only bring two bodyguards to a country that is controlled by the Mountain Clan. Is it really wise to do so? Very likely they would release Wen if Hito sent them some money and Jade, but I mean, it is a lot of money and Jade. From here, we know that these kidnappers are just some local gangsters, and we also know that they will never let Shay live and leave. They torture her for some information about a deal that has something to do with the Mountain Clan and another gang in Shorter, but Shay has no clues about what they are talking about. Even Shay as a weatherman got no information, no clues about it. Only the Mountain Clan got more resources in this country, they got their own network. So Hito had to make a very hard decision to ask their rival Ayat for help. In a way, it is like returning the favor for Shay and then saving Ayat before. With the help, Hito can finally save Shay, but because of the torture that Shay has gone through, she can no longer carry any Jade. This part I would say is quite interesting. I said it before. If you remember, the Mountain Clan has been too quiet. Before the final confrontation, Shay finally put every piece together and think about what the Mountain Clan has been planning. It is indeed a very important and smart move that would ultimately lead to the Mountain Clan to control everything in K-Con and eliminate the No Peak Clan. Another thing I would say now at this point, most of the leading figures of the No Peak Clan are not Jade warriors anymore. Hiro still possesses Jade, of course, but his wife, Wen, is a Stone Eye. She, because of the torture, can't wear any Jade anymore. Andon would wear Jade only for medical purpose, and that will leave only their kids, Jaya and Nico, to be the proper Jade warriors, and then Ru is a Stone Eye. So we can see this generation has taken a step forward. Do you really need to be a Jade warrior to be a part of the clan and to contribute to it? There is also a reflection from Shay talking about the meaning and purpose of wearing Jade and who's gonna define the value of it. Speaking of Ru, it did break my heart. I knew that the moment Ru go to that bar and see like Barrow was there and some anti-clan rioters was there as well, something bad gonna happen. It is like a ticking bomb to see how Ru can escape this situation because it is a setup by the anti-clan rioters. Earlier, we know that this group of people want to start a fight between the two major clans so they can promote the sense of clanless future. At first, I thought Ru still got a chance because he can still fight, but the rioter cheated and by accident killed Ru. I was in a complete shock when I read that chapter. It is giving me a bit of Red Wedding from the Game of Thrones. Ru is a Stone Eye from a traditional Jade warrior family, but he is so kind. He always think about the future of how the clan can be. He did really contribute to the family as a Stone Eye to try to get rid of this stigma about Stone Eye. I think the saddest part is not just the death itself, but also what comes later. Let's say how Andon has to give this news to Hiro, how quiet Hiro has been when he is listening to it, and then Hiro has to stay sane so that he won't collapse and wake up when. Too much to process. And then comes to the funeral of Ru. It is still really dark, really heavy. I think the moment that really broke my heart is the arrival of Nico, who earlier decided to be a mercenary and left this family. Now he realized he made a mistake by not sticking out with his brother, although I doubt would there be any use if he's still around, because he was kind of tricked to go to that bar. Even venturing out to join this mercenary is not as good as he expects, because the Espanians still got like no moral standard about to be a Jade warrior. And then Wen slapped his son really hard because he is away and cannot protect his brother. Also, there's no news, no letters from him since he left the family. So as a mother, Wen would be very worried about him, even though Wen didn't really tell him how she felt. But another emotional moment for me is how Hiro forgive Nico. Earlier in the book, there would be some heated arguments between this father and son because the son don't want to be part of this family and decided to join a group of mercenaries that Hiro has some prejudice about. So come to this point to hear how Hiro forgive his son, and the writing of it, it's just like really a lot. Now I only got the final confrontation left, and I hope there's not gonna be any more tears and I can take it well. I can easily see this as a 5-star rate because this series just get better and better. By the way, I went to Gosborough to pick up my latest DSFF book, and it is Strange Beasts by Susan J. Morris. I have already put this one in my November TBR, although this one sounds spooky and I don't read it in Halloween. So I think this one will be a fun one because it is like a historical fantasy mixing with some mystery elements. And then it is like Sherlock Holmes meets Dracula. So it sounds really intriguing and I can't wait to read this one. And then the number here is 754, and of course it is signed by the author as well. The naked hardcover is like this. I'm not sure anyone knows Morse code can crack it. I guess I'll crack it later with you guys. Shall we? No, I need to focus on my Jade Legacy. I didn't know. It's interesting, this neck cover. I guess I'll see you later when I finish Jade Legacy. See you in a bit. So, with the help of the internet, I have very quickly cracked the Morse code on here. Do you know what it is? Just put the code on this website and the answer is here. Strange Beasts, novel by Susan J. Morris. Interesting. What the fuck had happened again? Oh my god. Finally, I have finished it. So, I have just finished Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee, meaning that I have already completed the Green Bone Saga as well. But what an emotional roller coaster it is. Hands down, it is probably the best fantasy book that I have read in this year. I think what's so outstanding about this book or this series as a whole is the character work and how these two rivalry clans want to outsmart each other. By the way, looking at this cover art, making me really sad. And then the illustration here, the whole family together. My heart. Oh my god. Speechless. In terms of the final crisis that the Mountain Clan has been plotting, with the efforts of every single member of the clan, let's say we finally see how Jaya gonna lead a group of fingers to take over a territory, and then Andon once again acting as a diplomat to deal with a character appeared before. I think it is such a brilliant idea to see how literally every single one of the member of the clan to care and to contribute to it. I think it is I really enjoy the bonding essentially. But I was not really ready for the final twist. The clan is my blood and the pillar is its master. Thinking that scene is really emotional and heartbreaking. It is too much for me, and once again seeing how every single one of the clan respect Hiro as the pillar, as their leader, helping the clan to go through such a difficult time. At here I also I shouldn't say because it was so difficult, but I enjoyed the storyline for Wen, from someone who just simply fall in love with Hilo, but because she is a stone eye, she is worried about she's not gonna be accepted by the family. And then taking the risk to contribute to the clan to take some really difficult tasks, even risking her own life. But losing her brothers one by one is killed by an accident, and then the other one was exiled, but later redeemed his life, a son, and then a husband. It is really a lot for her. After Rue's funeral, she slapped Nico so hard because he is so selfish to leave the family, and then she got no news from him as a mother. But this time, after Hiro's funeral, finally she shows some softness to finally hug Nico. So emotional again. After all this sadness, I am happy to see that the future of KCON is leading to a different direction. We still got different clans in KCON, but we are moving forward. The leaders of the two major clans are in their 20s, meaning that the bloodsheds are in the past, and the new leaders are ready for the challenges in the future. From here, we can also see why the Mountain Clan has lost. Everything is just too hostile, and there's no bonding forming between each member. Ayat, the Mountain Clan leader, didn't trust anyone to achieve her dreams, so she secretly planned everything but didn't tell anyone. Versus in the Nopi clan, they care about each other. So that's the difference. The last thing I want to talk about is probably about the time jump. I was a bit scared to start this book because everyone is talking about how time moves in this final book. I was thinking maybe we suddenly jump 5 years, 10 years forward without much explanation, but it wasn't the case. I would say maybe it is 1 or 2 months forward, or even at most, maybe 2 or 3 years. To be honest, I think if time don't move this fast, I wouldn't think this book would be this great. We are quite familiar with all the characters, maybe not for the younger generation, the kids, or the leader of the mercenary group in Espania. With this time jump, we essentially see how everyone grow in this final book, or maybe the consequences of their decisions. Let's say how Hiro and Wen heal and repair their relationship. What Ru want to advocate because he is a stone eye growing in a no-peak clan. Argument and then the return of Nico. How Andon used his experience from the first 2 books to teach the kids. And then how the mercenary group gonna be a problem in the future. These moments, I would say, wouldn't be so impactful without the time jump, and the time jump itself is not that confusing. Alright, if you have heard about this series but you haven't started yet, I think it is the time to do so because this series is great. If you have read about the first book and think the pacing is a bit slow and you don't know what you're gonna expect, I think you can still keep going, keep reading the rest of the books because coming to this one, everything gonna make sense. It would definitely worth your time to invest in this trilogy. I've never read anything like this before. So if you have enjoyed this really emotional reading vlog, don't forget to give it a like. If you don't want to miss any content from me, make sure you have subscribed to my channel. I'll see you all real soon. Goodbye.